So it looks like the check may have cleared. Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend, who was supposed to testify during his trial but apparently disappeared, only for her to show up when jury deliberations started at a Whole Foods parking lot being interviewed by TMZ. Well, now she's writing a letter asking the judge to free Diddy.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So it's been a while since we talked about Diddy. Well, maybe just a few days. Last week, we gave you your Diddy update. Be sure to check out our playlist for a full Diddy trial update and some of the stories that we've been covering here on the channel. As you know, Diddy has been trying everything to get out of jail, more recently trying to get out on bail while his sentencing awaits on October 3rd. The judge has not made a final decision on that at this particular moment. However, you also may recall we talked about Gina. Gina was one of the victims that was set to testify. She was one of the victims that the prosecution had given, stating that she would testify. According to sources, Gina magically disappeared, only for her to reappear, as I mentioned, in a Whole Foods parking lot. But it's also important, when we talked about Gina a while ago, we also remind you that Gina did an interview. Before Cassie came out with her lawsuit, she did an interview with Tasha K 6 years ago, alleging very similar behavior from Diddy.
He had caught me texting another man. We was in Miami. It got really crazy that time. We was upstairs and we were in his closet and he pushed me and I fell to the ground. And then he stood over me. So I was laying on my back and he stood over me and he started punching me like this. He avoided my face, but he started punching me on the side of my head, and I was just covering my face. And then after he got done doing that, he stomped on my stomach really hard, and I took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, and he kept hitting me, and I was pleading to him can you stop? I can't breathe. And he stopped for a little bit. He grabbed my hair from the back and was punching the back of my head, because he was just avoiding my face when he was hitting me.
So one of the reasons why the judge in this case, Judge Aaron Submaranian, did not release Diddy the day his verdict was read, and he was cleared on RICO and S trafficking, however, convicted on transportation for prostitution charges for Jane Doe and for Cassie. You also know we did a video talking about Donald Trump, who's recently said that he is seriously considering a full presidential pardon for Diddy, despite Diddy not being a supporter of his political aspirations. So that's looming. We also know that there is a possibility that the judge could just sentence Diddy to basically time served, depending on the amount of time that he does decide to give Diddy on October 3rd. The other element here in regards to why the judge decided not to release Diddy when the verdict was read was because during the trial, we had multiple people from Cassie to Jane Doe to former assistants accusing Diddy of violence. And one of the things that the judge said during this bail hearing was the fact that, yes, you were cleared on all of these other charges. However, what we found out in this case was that you admittedly participated in domestic violence, which is violence. So that's important to know as we get into this other element in regards to Gina. Atlanta, I will be in your city in less than 24 hours at the City Winery, August 5th. That's tomorrow. If you haven't already, get your tickets. Tickets are still available. Meet and greet tickets are still available as well. We're going to be talking about Diddy. We're going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe. And of course, I will be giving you a deep dive into my thoughts on season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get into it all. And don't forget, I will also be coming to Washington, D.C. on August 22nd, then back in New York City on September 12th. The New York City show will have a live stream option as well. If you haven't already, get your tickets today. More information on the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience, will be coming to a city near you. Ticket information is available in the description. So that was an interview that Gina had did. And when people heard about her possibly testifying in this case, they were like, well, she's been consistent. This is what she accused him of 6 years ago, before we knew anything about Cassie. You also may recall we did a video where Gina, because a lot of people were saying Gina could not be found, there were no interviews. But Gina did an interview with paparazzi, it's important to know, Backgrid, who a lot of celebrities will end up paying to do interviews with them. She ended up showing up conveniently while the jury was in the middle of deliberations, because at this particular point, she didn't need to testify. Take a look at what she said back then.
I have a quick question for you. You think Diddy's gonna win this trial? Before you go, that's what I want to know. If Diddy does win this trial, do you think your life will be threatened in any kind of way?
No.
You don't think so? You think everything will be safe? Because the girl Aubrey O'Day, she said that if Diddy wins, she's gonna leave the country.
I mean, he never did anything dangerous to me. I'm not scared.
You're not scared? Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Mind you, again, I tell you this, reportedly, Backgrid is one of those outlets that people pay to show up and ask them questions. You look at those questions that were asked, they were very specific questions. Did Diddy plot and plan for paparazzi to meet up with Gina so she could reiterate that Diddy is not a bad person? Everyone has speculated that. Everyone speculates that she has been paid to remain silent. I don't want us to get it twisted in regards to the allegations that she had 6 years ago against him. We can go into a whole conversation about cycles of abuse, about people making excuses for their abuser. That could be the situation here. But you see a stark difference in regards to what she said 6 years ago versus what she said to paparazzi. Now, in a letter to the judge, asking the judge to release Diddy is a whole other situation. So this is what her letter said to the judge. Gina, also known as Virginia Hun, I think that's how you pronounce it, Hun or Hun, says, "Dear Your Honor, my name is Virginia Hun, and I am writing as the person identified as victim 3 in this case." So victim 3 was set to testify, however, did not testify. She says, "I have known Sean Combs for many years in both a personal and professional capacity. From that experience, I've seen him primarily as a father, a family man, and a businessman, roles that he has always striven to uphold. I provide this letter to share my observations about his character and to respectfully request that the court permit his release on bond while the case proceeds. I acknowledge and respect that Mr. Combs stands accused that the court must weigh public safety and the integrity of the legal process." Based off the interviews that you just saw that I shared with you, does it sound like she wrote this letter? Just asking. She says, "At the same time, I believe it's important for the court to have a full picture of who he is beyond the allegations. Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs and mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he has caused. By the time our relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was markedly different from his past behavior." All right, girl. It's important to note, Jane Doe cited an incident. Yes, I will always give you the full story. She said that she hit Diddy first, but then this was an incident back in 2024. Jane Doe says that she hit Diddy, slammed his head against, I guess, believe the kitchen island. And then he began to brutally assault her. Not just react to that moment, but for hours. And then forced her, allegedly, I'll say, into another freak off that same evening. Important to note, that was 2024. She says, "To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years, and he has been committed to being a father first. I'm writing because I do not view Mr. Combs as a danger to me or to the community. This is his first criminal case." No, it's not. Throughout the investigation and proceedings, he has been cooperative, respectful, and compliant. He has substantial ties to his family and community, including children who depend on him for emotional and financial support, including you. Granting him bond would allow him to continue caring for his family and fulfilling his responsibilities while still subject to the court's supervision. I want to assure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs will adhere to all the conditions imposed and will not jeopardize his freedom or the well-being of his family. Allowing him to be at home will also support the healing process for all involved. I respectfully ask that you consider these factors when deciding his eligibility for release. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Virginia Hoon. It should also be noted, when he was up for bail after the verdict, multiple letters, a letter from Cassie, a letter from Cassie's friend who also testified, Deontay Nash, also Chef Jordan, who was set to testify but ended up not testifying, all wrote letters asking the judge to keep Diddy in jail. This is one of Diddy's other victims, labeled as victim 3, Gina, asking the judge to now release him. She also was supposed to testify but ended up not testifying. As I mentioned earlier, President Donald Trump said that he was seriously considering possibly pardoning Diddy. But one of the other elements that we've discovered since we did that video was that he was going to wait until the judge, in this case, Aaron Submaranian, made a decision on Diddy's sentencing. So we probably will not see any sort of pardon until later this fall. Guys, I want to know your reaction to what Gina had to say in this letter to the judge, asking the judge to free Diddy. Do you agree with her? Do you think that this is just the cycle of abuse continuing? Or do you think that maybe she was paid off? As always, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.